Happy Friday and welcome back to my channel. Tonight's live is all about Nicki Minaj because she's obviously been very busy lately. She's back. We finally have new things to talk about. And oh Jesus, did everything pop off this week? So, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to get in here. Oh, girl, I was like running around to get ready to join the live because my doesn't shower and he was listening to music on his speaker really loud and turn his music down because I was like, your phone picks it up in the background. I don't want my lives any kind of copyright or anything because they think I'm trying to like stream somebody's music in the background or something. So, can you guys hear me okay? My AC is also blasting, I think. Hey Bree, hey Kelly, hey Lindsay, hey The Breaking News, hey Camille Chen, Alexandra, KLD. It's Mercury retrograde. I mean, we've got 8 planets and 6 of them are retrograde. So I was already just like, God, please let things work, but we gonna roll with it and just do our best regardless. No matter what's going on. I know YouTube itself was like being really choppy for a lot of other people this whole week anyways, just from some of the other live streams that I was trying to catch up on from the people that I do watch, or, you know, trying to kind of catch up on all the drama that's gone on this week. I noticed everybody was kind of having some issues here and there. So, hey Dior, hey One True King, Cosmic Fire, Tonya, BJ, Bubbles, and I apologize if I pronounced anybody's name wrong. So, I just have to say too, I was like, between Nicki and Kanye, like I feel like this is my vindication season. Cause I'm just like, well, they just been proving me right, especially all the popping off with the lawsuits and the subbing and the put a stamp on it and all the stuff that's been going on. Cause I feel like for so long, like I've been saying for the past 2 years, Nicki's gonna sue people. Kenny didn't do it. And like now all of this is like finally coming true. And I'm just like, in your face to everybody that wanted to sit there and talk so much crap to people like me and messy YouTubers this whole time when we just kept 10 toes down. So, hey Nadine, hey Rice, or Reese, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Hey 87 Kodak. Betty G, what's up? I'm so random. See, that's why sometimes you just sit back and be like, boop, go. I'm gonna just let shit play out because it all happens in the end anyways, right? Hey Social, hey Ronette, hey Bubbles. I'm so random. We just got started. We were just talking about how for the past couple years, I've been saying people needed to stop running with that janitor story and then on top of it, harassing people because now, like I kept saying, lawsuits are coming. But guys, I also just want to say this, please, 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 because I've been telling you guys this for the longest time too. And I know I said this like on like the last lives that we did about Nicki, you know, last year. You guys, don't let these other fan bases get you out of character, get you distracted because they're loving everything that's going on. They want the Barbs to go and fight with them and argue with them on Twitter and all of that kind of stuff rather than the focus being on streaming, running songs up, views up, all that kind of stuff. So please don't play into that, because to be honest with you, I'm going to just be straight up. Some of y'all are going to get caught up in some real fucking legal issues yourself that you're going to be stuck alone fighting. Harassing people, sending threats to them, like that stuff is not okay. And at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that whoever it is that you're defending, whether it's Nicki or Meg the Stallion or Cardi B or Beyonce or whoever, is going to come and bail you out or pay your legal fees. And so don't get yourself caught up in the same situations that a lot of these other people are now finding themselves in, just because everybody's acting freaking nuts right now. Okay? So, hey, Princess. Hey, the Bostress. Hey, Hondro. Hey, Missy Booze J. Yes, because everybody, you guys, is taking notes, sending shit to lawyers, screenshotting stuff. It's a big mess. And guess what? Cardi is going to sue people again, too. She's going to sue fans. Same thing. Don't give, nosy, sloppy people, you know who I'm referring to, any kind of ammunition that they can then take to court to then say, oh, Nicki sent everybody to go harass me, so that way then the judge starts looking at Nicki crazy instead of really truly looking at the facts, or the jury gets swayed by stuff like that. Be smart, okay? So, yeah, the fan bases don't bother me. It's just, I wish to God, you guys, I'm just going to be really upfront with this. I really, 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 and I've said this in my Patreon, I wish to God Nicki wouldn't have addressed any of these people, and she just would have let Judd go after them. Because guess what? Now there's a battery in Carlos and Mucus's backs. Sorry, Cardi and Megan's backs to release diss tracks. Sorry, we call her Carlos and Mucus in my Patreon, because when people are jerks, they don't get a name, they get a nickname, and it ain't a nice one. But they, now, like, it's like, okay, now that they feel liberated to go out and talk even more shit, be more irrelevant. And this is the thing, what I was saying this in my Patreon earlier. Megan's career is about to flop on out of this whole entire industry once this trial with Tory finally ever happens. Which, again, you guys, Tory's team is not delaying this trial because they're trying to, like, put off some inevitable loss that he's going to incur and then get deported and all this crap that I've seen people saying online. Please look up his lawyer. Please, please, please look up who Tory's lawyer is and see all of the freaking active cases that she is in court fighting right now. The Danny Masterson case, which is a huge freaking case, and that was the biggest one that was going to interfere with, time frames and schedules and everything. And this is my whole thing. Sean Hawley is an amazing lawyer. If you look it up, great, like, things have been said online about her continuously and what a great job that she does. I want her to be all in, all focused on this trial and not distracted, because she's also fighting 3 other big celebrity cases at the same time. So it's not anything that's, like, oh, Tory's gonna lose and they're just trying to put it off. That's just the same BS that people want to run with. But again, Cardi, they're pushing her more into the other avenues of entertainment. Atlantic is not gonna, I already told you guys that reading I just did on her. Atlantic isn't really stressing over pushing this second album with her either. They're not pouring any more money into her. Whatever music that she has coming out is stuff that's already been recorded, a couple years ago even. Hot shit didn't do anything. It was not shit. So it's just, I don't want Nicki giving relevance to these people and then making them seem like they're special because she talks about them, and then they can go engage their fan bases. And then they get trending on Twitter and Instagram also. So, oh, she definitely does want them to diss her so that she can unleash Roman on them. It's just, I would ignore them though, or just put the freaking diss track out. Let Roman speak for it, put it on wax, and let them respond from there, because guess what? Party's going to be torn between trying to figure out, does he write for Megan or does he write for Cardi to respond, and it's going to come down to whoever gives them a bigger check. So it's just like, oh my God. Stop giving them all of this attention. Yeah, Cardi's definitely tripping into her own bullshit though. And I do have to say this before we get into, the questions and everything, because we will get to that stuff. I did think it was hilarious that, if you guys didn't see, I guess Cardi's trying to force Tasha to either pay up or pay some bond where she basically has to like put up the 4 million, so that way if she loses her appeal, then Cardi automatically gets paid. And I was just cracking up because it was like, oh, let me guess, you haven't made any money off of your music because you got to pay all that advance back and all that payola back. And you have all these other lawsuits that are coming your way and that you got to go to court for next month. So you're going to try to make Tasha pay you so that you can turn around and pay that guy that you stole his pictures for your mixtape. And it's just like, oh my God, are you going to squeeze water out of a rock? If Tasha doesn't have the $4 million to pay you, how's she going to put up the bonds of $4 million? So that was just so funny to me. I was like, if she ain't got it, how are you gonna make her like suddenly come up with it? Oh, they definitely are going to sue you guys. If you didn't know, the Batty sisters, they're definitely gonna sue, especially because she had to take a guilty plea. That's like an automatic, like, okay, well now, because the threshold that you have to like prove your evidence in civil court versus like criminal court is way smaller anyways. So all they have to go in there is, oh, she admitted guilt in court that she did, do all this stuff and took that lesser charge. And guess what? I guarantee you they're going to settle out of court real quick too. So, wait, who sold their publishing? Cardi never had her publishing. So, I don't know if you were talking about somebody else, but Cardi does not own her publishing. She's in a 360. She doesn't own shit. And also, guys, too, if you didn't, and Megan does not own any of her publishing. This is the thing that I don't get about Megan, too, that I just want to say before we get off that subject and get on to Nicki. Megan actually has a really freaking good contract. There is no way in hell that anybody else was going to give her 40% of her publishing, especially as a new artist. Most artists don't even get any of their publishing at all. Then we see that they fight later on, for their masters and their publishing and everything. And so I'm just like, girl, like normally like established artists are lucky if they even get 10%. I think I looked it up, the industry standard I think was like 8% or something like that. So Lindy, that's already been proven in the court papers. But so anyways, you know, it's, why are you fighting to get out of a contract like that? Because there's no way in hell anybody else is going to give her as much as Carl was giving her. So, yeah, I already covered that part in my Patreon, but I mean, the fact that Universal would even take her word for it, which again tells me that Rot Nation wrote up some fake shit or was somehow behind that, that they would believe that she somehow owns 100% of her publishing rights. Really? It's a big deal that you even had 40% of them as a brand new artist. Like, but 100%? Really? And they just took your word for it? Like, that seemed so weird to me, too. I guarantee you guys, between the Tory case, between the Carl stuff, there's going to be a big downfall coming for Rock Nation in the next couple years. Because Spirit keeps saying that they're going to get exposed for a lot of dirty dealings and the way that they've been involved in a lot of like dirt on the back ends that other people are going to be exposing. So, but most of these people don't make any money off of their music anyways, guys. That's why they're all doing Fashion Nova and Boohoo collabs and whipped cream vodka and anything else that they can endorse, because that's the way that they make their money. And if you guys didn't know too, it doesn't matter if you have all these endorsements and shit. Your team gets the check and disperses all of that money, and then you get what's left over. So if you owe a shit ton of money back to your label for advances and whatnot, they'll take it out of your endorsement check. They don't care, and that's a part of the contract that you sign, that they're allowed to do that. So that's why when you see them going like OD with the endorsements, I'm always like, oh, did you start getting those calls from your company saying, hey, you owe us money and we're not going to fund you for anything else until you start paying us back? And then that's when it's like, yes, I'll do that. I'll do all of the collabs that people are emailing me about now because I got all this money that I got to pay. So she should have gotten way more time for that assault case. 15 days of community service. I was like, really? If I went to a club and beat the crap out of two girls because my boyfriend wanted to be with them instead of me, or paid people $5,000 to go attack them, I wouldn't be getting off with no 15 days community service. I'd be lucky if I got 15 months in freaking community jail. So, but you guys, let me just tell you too, when it comes to Cardi, Megan, any of these people, their labels love when they're in court cases, because guess what? Don't worry, we'll fix it for you. Here's 5 lawyers that each charge $500 an hour each. We're going to make sure that you need to spend 10 hours a week on the phone with them going over your case. Every single one of them has to work on your case and go to court with you. And the label will pay for it, because then guess what? You're never getting away from them. You're always in debt to them. They're like loan sharks, really. It's not even like a label. It's just like basically like, you know, really big payday loans, I guess you would call it, versus the little ones that like, you know, normal people get, where it's like, oh, here, you can have like half of your paycheck, you know, up front, and then you pay us back on your next paycheck or whatever. It's like, well, we're talking millions of dollars, but like the terms and conditions are still pretty much the same. So And exactly, just like you guys, if you go look up like all this stuff that happened like with Lou Pearlman and the way that he screwed over NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, he was literally taking them out to all these dinners, and then they found out afterwards that he put it back in their expenses. Every single time that he took them out to a steak dinner, they paid for it, whether they knew it or not. And he even was charging them for the freaking pencils and pens that he would use to take notes about and stuff about them. Do you think he's the only person in the music industry that ever did that? Or do you think he learned that from all the labels that he was working with? Because Diddy is known for doing the same thing over the years to all of his artists too, which is why I'm not impressed with, when Carisha's posting that he got her a chain, because it's like, girl, I guarantee you you're gonna pay for that necklace and his that matches yours on the back end some way or another. And then when it's like, where's my paycheck for my podcast? It's like, oh, we bought you that necklace. Don't you remember? So, I mean, they always do that. Well, that's what, if you look at like all of the blind sites too, they keep saying like Crazy Days and Nights. I don't really look at like Lipstick Alley confuses the hell out of me, and I don't even know how people find anything on that site. Maybe I just like don't know how to use it, so I never go on there. I usually go on Crazy Days and Nights and sometimes like Reddit, but what I was reading on Crazy Days and Nights and Reddit, they were saying that Atlantic is putting all their money into Lizzo and Jack Harlow, and they weren't willing to even put up money for any more ghostwriters for Cardi. Allegedly, that's what Crazy Days and Nights said. So, but I believe it, and Spirit said it was true. So, oh, really? See, I don't know, because people are always like, oh, on Lipstick Alley, people are saying this or that. And I'm like, how do you even find where people are? I don't know. That's why I said maybe I just don't have enough patience to sit there and like dig through it all. But it just, and then half the time too, I don't even know who half the people that they're talking about are on there, because it's always like, oh, this basketball player. I don't watch basketball, so I don't know anything about these people. So, no, she's not. I mean, like I said earlier, all of her songs are just old songs anyways that are coming out. Like, if you guys didn't know, that song that she had with Dirk and Kanye, that was like hella fucking old. Kanye just threw a verse on it recently, but it was already like a song that I think they said she'd recorded in like 2019 or something like that. It was after she had recorded the first album. So, but anyways, guys, so first and foremost, just remember, keep it respectful. If you want to make sure your question gets answered, you can send a super chat. Also, put question in front of it if it isn't a super chat, so that way I can see what the hell is going on, and hold the questions when I am answering another question, because I'm not going to scroll back up and find it unless it was a super chat. So it's all been, she's already had that album done for a couple years. They've just been holding on to it at first because they were waiting for Nicki to release. And then obviously Nicki had other shit going on in her life that was more important, like getting married and having a baby. So she didn't, release her album as soon as Atlantic was anticipating, according to Crazy Days and Nights. This is what I read on there. And then, now, because I guess some of the songs are kind of old or played out, or they don't fit into like the direction that music went into, or they refer to older things, Atlantic basically told her, too bad, so sad, you have to put it out anyways, because we're not going to put more money into like going back and redoing songs for you. So don't call people any kinds of addict of any kind, guys. Keep those, do not say that stuff. I've already read on that a bazillion times, Missy Boos. We're not talking about janitor at all tonight. We're talking about new stuff. So, anyways, guys, did you guys hear the song with Blue, by the way? And listen, at the end of the day, we're not going to accuse people of things that we have no proof of. Everything is entertainment only, all alleged. We're just telling ghost stories with my little cards that have pictures on them that Cyril Marchetti drew for me. But no repeating accusations that other people got sued for in the comments. We're not trying to become a Tasha K over here ourselves, okay? So, I didn't, let me see. So what did you guys think about the song that came out today with Blue? I like Nicki's part. I'm not sold on Blue and the song as a whole, but I do like how Nicki came in. I think that she did a great job with it and it fits the song. It's just, I feel like the song is gonna like have to kind of like, I only got to listen to it once all the way through and I listened to a couple of the clips because I've been really busy today. But I think it'll probably grow on me after I listen to it a few more times. So, yeah, it's called Love in the Way. You guys, I just have to say this. I do not agree with everything that Akbar has said or done, but I also can always see above or around or through her antics because I know it comes from a place of like real deep traumas that she's endured. Doesn't mean it's okay. Like when she was saying stuff about people's kids, you know, and again, please, you guys, can we stop dragging kids? Why is everybody dragging children all of a sudden? They've always been off limits, and now all of a sudden it's like this year everybody wants to drag kids into stuff. But I actually got like, I teared up for Akbar when I saw that she was on there. Like, I just got emotional for her because I know how hard she's worked, how much she's tried to get, you know, her music out there. And on top of it, that she always has been a big supporter of Nicki. And so I just was like really excited for her because I know that probably really meant a lot to her and she really worked hard for that. And honestly, she killed her verse. I've always thought Akbar was so talented, but nobody ever gets to notice that because of all the drama. And that's why I don't want Nicki engaging in all this drama right now too, because it takes the focus away from the music. Yeah, it gets everybody talking and they want to go listen to the song at first just to see if you're dissing somebody. But then people forget about the song and they only focus on the drama. And that, you know, has only hurt people like Akbar instead of helped them. And, you know, I don't want the same thing happening to Nicki this era also. So, and by the way, guys, all of the rest of the Kardashian readings that I said I was going to do will be up next week. They decided, without telling anybody that lives over here, because there's a lot of people where I live that work from home, that they were going to be chopping down a bunch of trees right outside of my window for most of the week. I I couldn't even hear myself think half the time, so I couldn't record. So I will get those up next week. Also, yes, please, guys, make sure you like the live. So the ladies did good. And honestly, I liked the remix better than the original. Because it just seemed so much more fun. But remember, I did say I have to claim this one too, because that was another, I was right again, because I said Nicki was going to do something very similar to almost like a ladies' night type vibe, where you bring in all these different girls that have different styles or were newer or from different areas and put them on a song together to kind of promote some female unity. And that's, you know, what happened. So, hey JB, they all did good. But, and you guys, like, the fact that, like, the other girls in the rap game want to throw a fit because they didn't get picked to be on a song, or because they think that Bia or Akbar or Katie Got Bands didn't deserve it and they're better or whatever, is the freaking entitlement to me is hilarious. Because think about this, you guys. Like, let's just go back in time a little bit, since we're talking about people that are basically, you know, at the top of their game, legend status. Would anybody ever fix their mouth to have a damn fit because Beyonce or Rihanna didn't stick them on a song? No. So, why people think nobody would have ever like thought that, oh, just because I can sing and dance, I'm entitled to work with Michael Jackson. But why people think that, like, oh, because it's Nicki Minaj, I get to demand that she works with me and then have a fit when she doesn't, or she picks somebody else. I'm just like, what? What is this? Like, why do y'all think this way? And why only about Nicki Minaj for some weird reason? Because it's weird. And I said this to my Patreons because I wasn't, you know, doing a bunch of lives on here and stuff. But when young baby Tate threw that damn fit, because wasn't it because she did the song with Bia, or was it the song that she did with Koi? I was dying laughing because I'm like, if that's the way that we are doing things, then guess what, Tate? I'm gonna film a music video in the fucking park this weekend in Sacramento, and you need to show up in full hair and makeup with 16 bars written, ready to film all day and night for free, because apparently we can just demand that people need to make music with us these days. So I'm picking you. Since you want to make music so fucking bad, let's go make a song together and make an album. Like, see how stupid that sounds? That's how these people all sound to me when they start bitching and complaining that Nicki didn't pick them to be on a song with her. Like, I'm just gonna slide into all these people's DMs and be like, hey, here's this park in Sacramento that we're filming at this weekend. I expect you to be there at your own cost. Well, no, she's not, but I'm just saying, nobody would ever do that to any of these other artists. People, you don't see people sitting there having a heart attack because they're like, oh my God, Cardi didn't put me on hot shit with her and Kanye. I always wanted to work with Kanye. How dare you, Cardi? That was my chance to be on a song with Kanye. Nobody's doing that to anybody except for Nicki, and it's ridiculous. Well, see, that's the thing, because everybody knows that Rihanna's got a fucking attitude and she'll put you right in your place. Or she'll just pay your ass dust forever. So, but, you know, it's crazy how people just think, you know, that like, oh, they can make all of these demands of Nicki Minaj that they would never dare to do to any other artist in this industry. Dude, listen, everybody knows. I listen to Kanye's music every single day of my life. Every single day of my life. Okay. And I could not get through his verse on Hot Shit, much less that song. If you guys didn't know, that was a body double playing him in the video, anyways. But that video was so horrendous with the freaking CGI and all of that stuff. It was just like, Super Freaky Girl at least had great visuals, so I'm not like at all surprised that it would just top that anyways on the views, because that song was not it. Kanye did that as a favor to Offset. It didn't have anything to do with Carlos, and he just did it as a throwaway because he didn't really give a shit. So, I mean, you know how Kanye is. Like, if he actually produced a song himself, that song is going to be, like, immaculate. But that's why I was like, you can tell Kanye heard the song and was like, crap, I got to do Offset a favor. Let me throw some shit together and toss it her way and be done with it so I can get back to my Gap Balenciaga collabs. So, and then he was like, yeah, just use whoever. I was actually like, is that Offset wearing a mask and different clothes, like pretending to be Kanye in that video? Because I was like, you guys didn't even get a very good body double of Kanye. So, but anyways, so what are our Nicki questions? I was like, let's stop giving Carlos energy because she doesn't deserve it. And guys, I'm just going to say this too. There are some things that Spirit said, you know, they're not going to answer only because, number one, you know, we know Nicki said this in Ganja Burns too, so I don't know why anybody was like so completely shocked and surprised that she said, you know, that she heard from people in the industry that somebody was trying to do voodoo on her. Because she told us in Ganja Burns, they done went to the witch doctors to bury the Barbie. And so Spirit said, obviously, you know, people are still doing the same things to her. So especially stuff where, like, when it comes to like Papa Bear's name or things like that, like there's a reason why she hasn't released the name yet. And there's a reason why Spirit will never share that with us either until Nicki feels like it's safe for her to do so. Plus, that's her thing to do anyways. It's not our place to like out her baby's name. So stay on topic. Put question in front of your question. So I know it is a question because the chat goes by really fast. If you want to make sure your question is answered, you can do a super chat. But put question in front of the questions, guys, so that way I can see it. And when I am answering a question, again, when I'm in the middle of answering a question, hold the questions, or again, put a super chat because I'm not going to scroll up to find all the questions and re-answer them. Tay Spirit said it's not up to us to tell who she was working with on her last IG live. That's something that needs to be a surprise. So let's see. Jason, yes. Which I'm gonna say this. I don't really talk about Jason Flea very much. I grew up with him. It wasn't a pleasant experience. That's all we need to know. And there's a reason why people from Stockton claim Prison Bay and never mention him. I have to and hold the questions for a minute, guys. Again, unless it's a super chat, since I'm answering this question. But Jason's definitely getting sued. I keep feeling like Armand is gonna get pulled into it too. I don't watch any of these people. I literally just started following Hollywood Unlocked like 2 weeks ago just because he does post different things than the other blogs, because so many of the blogs, you know, just basically repost the same stories over and over and over and over again. So it's annoying. So that's the only reason why I followed, just to, you know, see what else was going on. So that way I could not only see the same crap being reposted on every single page all day, every day, but I've heard him and Armand talk together a lot. Spirit just kept talking about like, it's like Jason gets a lawsuit and then there's like a bunch of other people that are like named as like maybe co-defendants with him. Like, oh, you were also on his channel, or you guys were on each other's channels, going back and forth and like talking all this crap together and saying all these untrue things together. So he's definitely catching a lawsuit, and like like I said, you know, there's gonna be a couple other people that he's had on his channel that will get dragged into it as well. So and Azalea Banks, I don't get that she's done enough, like in a legal sense, that it would even be like, oh, we can definitely win this case, so it makes sense and is worth the court fees, legal fees, whatever, to go after you, especially because this is the thing, guys. I think Nicki and her lawyer are also being strategic, as in, okay, let's just think about this for a second. Who takes anything that Azalea Banks says seriously? Does anybody really truly be like, oh my God, Azalea Banks changed my mind and I hate that person and I'm not supporting them anymore? Not really, because, you know, she's always popping off and attacking people and going after them. So I don't feel that Azalea Banks like has enough influence, if that makes sense. I know it sounds weird to say that like a blogger would have more influence, but they do, because us regular people are much more likely to have our opinions swayed by like a blogger that sits up there, tells us facts, then tells us their opinion on things and can word things a certain way. And this is why, you know, people like Kris Jenner use the blogs, because they know they have influence. So you know, it's stuff like that. Barbara, babe, you got to include your question with the super chat so I can make sure and see it. Beyonce and Jay-Z have been sending Nicki's flowers, though, for a while. They sent her flowers for and presents for Papa Bear when he was born also. Like, this is the thing with them. They're shady behind her back, but to her face, they're nice, because that's how they are. They're two of the most two-faced people in the industry anyways. They're never going to publicly beef with her or let people publicly feel like, oh, like there's a problem. So they'll go out of their way to do the fake nice shit, like send you flowers because they know that you'll post it. But then they be talking mad shit about you behind your back. We're only doing Nicki questions, guys. Stop asking about Carlos. If I have to keep warning you, I'm just going to boot you off the channel for good. I'm not even going to like stick you in timeout anymore. Are Nicki and Kanye still cool? Not at all. Not at all. Not right now. Let me see. You guys hold the questions, please, because you guys keep asking questions while I'm answering other questions, and I don't see them because I'm looking at my cards or have my eyes closed listening to spirit. So please remember, one person who has to channel spirit in the cards, then translate it back to you, and also read your guys' comments and engage. So it's a lot. It's like having schizophrenia and ADHD at the same time. That's why I get like the worst migraines every time I do a live trying to keep up with all of it. So let's see. What's going to happen between Kanye and Nicki's relationship? Thank you. I just want to do a little mini poll on that because Kanye feels like Nicki really betrayed him. And I want to see what Spirit's going to say about all of this. I'll tell you what started it for Kanye or convinced him that he was over it was what she said in that Joe Budden interview. Because, you know, number one, and I said this too, there was really no reason for her to even mention Kanye in that. And I feel like there's hurt feelings on both sides of each one of them, feeling like you went behind my back and did something or like didn't support me when I needed you. But there's just the way that Nicki's been moving in the industry and certain contracts and agreements that she's made that's really made Kanye feel like she's not who he thought she was. And he doesn't feel like he could ever trust her again. Especially after certain conversations that the two of them have had privately about industry dealings. And he felt like she threw him under the bus, especially in the sense of, you know, you said like, oh, he couldn't do the collab because he needed to do it with his wife because, you know, of their whole marriage and stuff. So it's like, why are you throwing me under the bus if you understand that, like, yeah, as a married man, I do have to work with my wife to keep the peace at home first and foremost. So listen, you guys, the same thing that this industry will paint people out to be crazy and make them seem like something is wrong with them. Don't be manipulated. Don't be sheep. Don't fall for the bullshit when it comes to Kanye. He is completely painted out to be something that he's not. Like, let's not get started on that stuff because then this will turn into a me schooling everybody about Kanye live instead of talking about Nicki, and I'm going to make people cry. It's Mercury retrograde. Let's not go in on the Gemini because my Virgo moon will come out. So hold the questions, Teddy. I'm answering another question, please. Alrighty. So, and listen, Mars and Venus ain't getting along right now, and I have very strong placements in both Mars and Venus, so I will go the fuck off tonight. Okay. See, this is the thing. Again, there's misunderstandings and hurt feelings on both sides of things. And there's a real deep hurt from both of them. Because, oh, my Mars is in Sagittarius. People need to fucking hide if they piss me off enough, and it overcomes my Libra-ness. Because I have a Libra stellium and a Sag stellium, and I'm always like, y'all are lucky I got one extra planet in Libra and not Sagittarius, because then I'd really be a monster when I get upset. But that Libra in me is like, let's pick and choose our battles. We don't really care that much. So, but there's definitely a lot of hurt on both sides. Both of them feeling like the other one wasn't there for them when they needed it. And Kanye feels like Nicki's been going around talking a lot of shit about him behind his back in the industry. So, this is the thing that they need to sit down and have a conversation and actually air shit out. So the thing is it's like both of them are letting other people get in the way and stir the pot and keep things keep this misunderstanding going. It's like, oh yeah, and I'll tell you this, Offset is really playing into it a lot. Telling him, oh yeah, I heard she said this. Oh yeah. He's been really trying to hype shit up. Kanye's in a place though, honestly, right now, guys, where he's not really worried so much about making friends with people. He's got his own shit going on, as far as all the business stuff and fighting with Kim over the kids, that he's just in a place where it's like, I'm going to drop it and we'll revisit it later because I have other shit going on that's more important to me in my future. Whereas Nicki's going to keep poking the bear with him, you guys. I'm just going to say this. We're going to hear her throw a lot of shots at him and subs at him, especially on Queen Radio. I don't think she's going to put a stamp on it for all of it. Spirit said some stuff she'll say his name on, but Kanye is such an air sign that he's just going to reach out to her and be like, let's dead this. You're my sister. I don't want to have beef. And we need to move on and move past this. And we will end up seeing them work together again. But right now, Kanye's kind of over it and done with it for the moment. And it will be because it's just Kanye's we have love for each other. Why are we even acting like this? Why did we let other people get in the way? This is bullshit. It's going to backfire on Offset, though, because I do feel Kanye going back to him and being like, why were you starting all this shit? Why are you being a messy female? It's going to cause Kanye to back off from Offset, to be honest with you. And him and Offset were going to do a lot together as far as Balenciaga type stuff. And I feel like that's going to be the end of that. So Geminis are obsessed with Sagittariuses. Geminis aren't obsessed with anybody. I have never come across any Gemini who is obsessed with any Sagittarius. I was going to say, they're obsessed with speaking the truth and getting everybody to see their point of view. But I don't really see them ever being like really like all that like stuck on like anything, you know, when it comes to that stuff. So, okay, guys, you can drop more questions. Oh, Kanye's just using Jason. This isn't a Kanye live anyways, guys. Keep it to Nicki questions. But I'm just going to say this. Kanye is using Jason because he's proving a point. He told everybody that he was going to take his narrative back. Jason used to be one of Kris Jenner's little lap dogs. So Kanye went and flipped him just to prove a point to Kris. And that's why I said, just watch, because Kanye is the more relevant, influential person that has more money when it comes down to it. If he wants to go and start being buddy-buddy with the Neighborhood Talk and the Shade Room and It's On Site and all of these different blogs, they will 100% go run to be on Kanye's side and like turn on the Kardashians and start dragging them for absolute filth on a daily basis, the same way that we see Jason doing to them now. So he knows what he was doing. He was just doing it on purpose, just to prove a point to Kris Jenner, not because he actually truly values Jason Lee. So she's gonna lose. You guys, this is the thing, and I'm just gonna say this right now. What Spirit is saying is, and I'm not gonna name individual YouTubers and all of that, they're all gonna lose their cases, but Nicki needs to stop going in their comments and DMing them, because then they can have a case to get back at her and countersue. And we need to, as fans, barbs, stands, whatever you want to call it, supporters, do not engage with these people. Don't threaten them. Don't go after them, because then you give them a case in response back to her. Because don't forget, originally Tasha was suing Cardi back. And then, you know, that part had to get like dismissed and everything. But we don't want to actually go and give her any opportunity to file a countersuit and say, well, Nicki sent all her fans to harass and threaten me, or I got doxxed, or any of the other stuff that's happened. And she's not the only one, you know, I mean, there's other creators that I've seen that are also filing cases against Barbs for threatening them because they said they didn't like her music on Twitter or something. So don't hand these people who want to talk all this crap about Nicki a key for them to have an opportunity to sue her back or make her case not as strong. Okay? I'm just going to say that. But right now, they are definite. I just said I'm not going to talk about individual content creators, you guys. This is about Nicki. We're not making these people, you know, more relevant, and we're going to talk about it in a general sense. And also, don't start drama, because sometimes certain creators then think, even if you are saying anything kind about them just because their names were mentioned, that you're talking shit about them on their channel. So but you guys just ignore it and go pour the energy into something positive that actually boosts her sales and numbers. So let me see. So you guys, I'm answering, will Nicki be more direct with who is mistreating her, rap girls specifically? Remember, if you guys want a question answered, put question in front of it. If you want to guarantee your question is answered, you can super chat it. I I do feel like, I mean, Spirit said, you know, okay, I'm like trying to think of how do I say this. I know for a fact from an insider that a deal has already been lost because of her addressing a lot of this stuff that's going on. So that's why I said I really wish that she would stop talking about these people and addressing them. But Spirit said she's not going to. And I keep feeling like as we get towards the end of this month, she's going to name somebody. She's going to say more shit about everybody and what they've been doing to her for sure. But I do feel her actually saying somebody's name before the end of the month. I don't feel it being Cardi, though. I keep feeling like she might put a name on it when it comes to, like, either somebody like Koi, if it's not Koi herself, or possibly Megan. So, no, she doesn't listen, and this is not good for her because this is not good for her. Because like I said, I know that she's, here, how do I say this so I don't like get in trouble? I got permission from the person who told me this to say it, but usually keep like my tea that I actually get from sources to Patreon just to protect the person who said it. And I said this yesterday, then this today, like somebody calls me and confirms it and tells me more information about the whole situation or whatever. But I said I didn't think it was smart the way that she attacked Garcelle because you just did the Housewives reunion with Bravo. And then she goes and drags Garcelle and directly mentions her being on the Housewives. And I said in my Patreon comments, I was like, this is not going to be good for her if she had any kind of a Bravo deal in the works. And I was told that she did, and it's dead in the water now. And this person thinks that she'll try to, you know, bring the whole situation over to Amazon. But I'll tell you guys this, what Spirit told me when I was talking about that is that Amazon may end up dropping her if she doesn't chill with the flipping out on radio because they're a business at the end of the day. And as much as it's like, oh yes, like we love Nicki, they love Nicki because she's bringing them numbers. Look how many people have downloaded the app to listen to the podcast and the radio show, and how much engagement she's brought over to that side of Amazon's entertainment. And it's numbers and money for any of these companies at the end of the day. They don't give a shit that you're Nicki or Kanye or Cardi or whoever. If you're causing them problems or costing them money or you're not making them money, they'll cut your ass. And what Spirit is saying is if it comes a problem where maybe they do want to work with somebody and it's like, well, I'm not going on there because Nicki talks crap about me on Queen Radio every week. Amazon's going to be like, Nicki's causing a problem for us now and we need to rethink this. And Spirit said that's kind of the reason, you guys, why she's not doing this on Apple anymore, because Apple got on her ass about you need to calm down if you're going to do this show again. And they were trying to kind of put a lot of rules and boundaries on her because they knew that things were starting to get out of control last time. And I mean, yeah, Queen Radio is horrible for her. I really was sad when I saw that she was doing this all over again. This is not the way that she needs to be going about things, you guys. And I'm just going to be honest. None of the songs that she's put out this era have been that big and amazing that anybody's going to overlook all the antics just to support the songs. I see everywhere people keep saying I'm not a Barb anymore and I can't stand by her anymore. I just keep seeing people, her losing fans, because how do you support it when you're saying Garcelle's son deserves to get dragged? Two wrongs don't make a right. Garcelle's son doesn't deserve to be dragged. I don't care if Garcelle herself went and booked janitor for that interview. Garcelle's son had nothing the fuck to do with that, and what happened to him was horrendous and horrible, and whoever it was behind all that stuff definitely needs to go under a jail for orchestrating a social media racist attack against a 14-year-old little boy. But at the same time, you know, yes, there is definitely, like, I don't think that anybody was thinking about Papa Bear and any of this stuff either. But what I'm saying is, two wrongs don't make a right. You can't say, oh, no, she said nobody gave a fuck about my son, so now you want to sit up on the Real Housewives and cry about your son. It's karma, and I see why that white man left you. She did. Go look it up, Dior. She said that this was Garcelle's karma. She was making it that this is what Garcelle deserves and that she has no right to cry about it. And listen, again, I am not saying that it was okay for them to have janitor on the show. And I'm not saying it's okay for anybody. I don't think anybody's kids should be talked about. Kids should be left out of it 100%. Well, listen, did everybody take it as if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen? No, she was, yes, you can say it's karma, but at the same time, when you're saying it's karma, that's also insinuating that her son deserves it because your son didn't deserve it. And that's why I'm saying, leave the kids out of it completely. You shouldn't even say anything that insinuates anything about anybody's child. Ever. And nobody talked about Papa Bear on that interview. If anybody's ever talked about Papa Bear, it was janitor. Garcelle never said anything about anybody's kid. So I'm just being real, you guys. And it doesn't matter if word for word she didn't say it. What I'm saying is the insinuation is there of, oh, this is some kind of a karma for you. Nobody cared about, who cared about my son? What does that sound like? It sounds like saying your son deserved to get dragged because y'all didn't give a shit about what people were saying about my kid. That's not okay. Like, we can't just sit here and be like, oh, yeah, she didn't deserve the hate train, but then okay her attacking people all the time because she's proving everybody's points right. She's making everybody feel like you are the bully that everybody painted you out to be. You are the angry person that always has problems with everybody in the industry. And this is why it's just like, get the F off Queen Radio, be quiet, release a video and a song, come back a month later with your documentary, and let everybody see you in a different light. Because right now, and listen, guys, I am just saying this. I understand when you've been lied on and attacked and dragged for years and years and years. Of course, you're gonna want to defend yourself, but you should have defended yourself back then. Now, rehashing everything 4 years later, it's just re-bringing up drama. And now, whether it's I'm trying to think, deserved or not, it's making everybody believe that what was being said about you that was supposedly a lie during the hate train is true, that you are this bully and mean girl. And I know that she doesn't care, or she's in this like, fuck it, I'm just gonna live in my truth stage or whatever. There's better ways to do it though, because this is not helping anything. And this is not the way to start this era off, because it's gonna taint her legacy, guys. And like I said, I just keep seeing everywhere where people are saying that they can't support her and they don't want to be her fan anymore. And that's not what we wanted for Nicki. I love Nicki, but I'm disappointed in her. I really am fucking disappointed in her. So, and she has every right to, you know, get mad at the girls who want to start shit with her now. But again, don't say things that make it seem like you're saying that people's kids deserve to be dragged. Like, you have to be careful about how you say stuff, because it's only causing problems and now it's costing deals. And I don't like angry Nicki. I'm just gonna be honest. I do not like angry Nicki. I like fun, happy Nicki, who's, you know, playing around and being a goofball and being silly and asking dumb questions with people on Instagram Live and joking around and all of that kind of stuff and eating her ice and her pickles. Angry Nicki that's always complaining about something and inserting herself in everything to make all these comments about, you know, what happened with the P&B situation, or, you know, just, and again, like I said, you're giving relevancy to these hoes anyways by dragging them, because then everybody feels, you know, Barfy Gang feels justified to go get in fights with the Barbs and to be like, say she is the bully everybody said she is. And now we are hearing that both, you know, Carlos and Mucus have diss records that they're going to drop against her. And again, you should just put out a Roman's revenge against all the bitches that fucked with you during the hate train. Like, why didn't you put out Roman's hate train or Roman's revenge versus the hate train, or like just address all of that on wax with Roman? Dude, we would ate that shit up so fucking hard. She would have gained more fans, I guarantee you. But this is making people really believe that everything that people said during the hate train was true. And she's giving people who don't deserve it any clout. But this is the thing, you guys. I'm not saying like, oh, some of the stuff that she's saying isn't right. I'm saying she's going about it in the wrong way and feeding into it. And she's supposed to be a queen. She needs to rise above it. And especially with all these girls that were bitching and complaining because like JT and B are on your song, I would have, you know what I would have done? I would have brought all those girls on Queen Radio with me, the girls that were on the song. And I would have said to all of them publicly, we're queens, we're on a queen mix, we don't address peasants. Leave it at that. That would have fucking shut all of them up. It would have made them all choke. I would have said, if y'all got something to say, put it on wax, but we don't care about the Twitter fingers stuff. Leave it there. You're the ones that got picked because you were the best. Live with the title of being the best, and let all the losers sit there and be jealous and don't address it. I always leave my live streams up, guys. I am not going to sit here and work for 2 hours and then delete it afterwards. That's why if you guys ever see anything get removed from my channel, it was not me. I said this last week. I don't give a shit if I was wrong in the video. I'm still going to leave it up because then people are going to go and view it just to go talk shit in the comments about how I was wrong. And guess what? I'm going to make money off of new views off of it. So it's still worth it to me. So there's no reason to delete things, in my opinion. It's YouTube that does it, not me. Listen, I don't care. I'm going to be real all the damn time. Okay? I'm not going to sit here. I will never kiss anybody's ass. Trust me, I drag Kanye too. I will, and the next time Kanye does some bullshit, I'm going to drag him again. And he's my favorite artist, but I'm not going to sit there. I don't co-sign anything that anybody does. I'll drag my own kid if he's doing something fucked up. You can't be a blind, loyal kiss ass. It's not going to get you anywhere in life except really fucking lost. And then caught up in all kinds of problems that you didn't want. So, Nicki thinks she's right. I mean, and if you guys didn't know, she sold out. She's part of the Illuminati now. That's also why she's going crazy like this, because Roman's her, not just her alter ego, it's the spirit that she possesses. And he's rooted himself a little too deeply in her. That's also why everybody started accepting her back in and giving her these awards and showing her love. And a big part of the reason why her and Kanye also fell out. I waited until the almost end of the live to spill that tea. I mean, I've said it on Instagram and all over Patreon, but she sold out, guys. So, I mean, you know, she'll still get... she'll still get awards and she'll get everything that she wants this era as long as she behaves herself. It's just spirit saying she can still screw up everything that she sold out for by opening her mouth too much and running it in the wrong ways. Kanye is the only one that hasn't, that's a big star. They've all sold out. She re-upped. So they're at TJ Maxx all the time, Dillo. Will she do more big movie roles? Yeah, because Spirit said since she sold out, they'll give her all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, if you guys didn't know, every single person in Hollywood, except for maybe like 30 or 40 of them, like have sold out. Athletes, entertainers, all of them. If you want to know more details, you can go to my Patreon. Lindy, all you ever do is talk crap about Kanye. Like, I don't even know why you're on my channels. Just to talk crap about Kanye. Like, I've already explained over and over and over everything that's happened with Kanye. You're in my Patreon. You know. Now you're kicked out, and I'm going to kick you out of my Patreon as soon as I can, too. Like, if y'all want to just sit there and join my shit to just talk shit or try to argue me down because you don't like somebody that I, you know, talk about as being misaligned and misunderstood and everything, you're wasting your fucking time because you're not going to change my mind because I'm looking at things with logic and psychic intuition and not emotion. Well, she's been wasting her money being in my fucking Patreon for the last year and a half just to keep talking shit about Kanye. And I've ignored it long enough, but now you're bringing it on my live on YouTube, so you're done. Hey. So, well, that's going to be a big reason why her and Kenny end up not together in the end, too. Hang on one second, guys. Okay, sorry. Had to make sure they were blocked everywhere. And guess what? Oh, you guys, if you want to know more about that stuff, you got to go to my Patreon. We can't talk about that stuff on here too much. So, well, that's her ego is the reason why she did end up selling out so that she could come back in and get everything back her way. So, okay. Let me see. I gotta wrap it up and get off of here soon because I do have to do some readings for people that work in Hollywood. I have a lot of clients that work in the industry and they watch these videos, so they don't comment and they won't tell you who they are, but they be getting on the phone with me and be like, you know, you just said this on your live. Let me tell you. So she's not going to have another hate train, but Spirit saying it's more like she'll just have a lot of industry beef, but it'll be of her own doing. But I just honestly like Spirit saying, you know, you guys, I don't feel like that album is, if it comes out this year, it comes out around her birthday. I don't know why I keep feeling like the album release is going to get dragged into next year. Or it's like a 2-part album. Like I put out part 1 first and then part 2 comes out next year. But has she given us a date on the documentary yet? Babe, once you sell your soul to Satan, the only way out of it is it's like a gang, blood in, blood out. And that's why we say to everybody too, like, do you guys not notice? Like, everybody in Hollywood seems to be a part of the same gang and they all throw up the same gang signals. But we really think people like Kristen Stewart and Scarlett Johansson are gangbanging? No. Why is everybody throwing up the same poses and things and videos and pictures? It's the 6 or the 1 eye or all the other symbolism. It ain't have nothing to do with I'm just rapping where I came from or any of that kind of stuff. The doc may be on Paramount. You guys, stop asking about if people are taking substances. I've said that a bazillion times. Stop putting that in the comments. People are getting literally sued for talking about this shit. We're not involving ourselves in that, nor is it our place to talk about that anyways, and especially not publicly on YouTube. Next person that does that, you're getting blocked. So, Next February? Okay, that makes sense because Spirit kept saying that it was going to be earlier next year. And I don't know why they kept showing it around like the Super Bowl. And so that's why I was like, trying to remember, like, when is the Super Bowl? And I'm like, wait, it's in January or February, right? So that makes sense because I just keep feeling like it was getting dragged out. So it's patreon.com/psychicbellolove or right here as you see right there. I've already answered that, Princess. I literally just did a video on their whole entire relationship, so I'm not re-answering questions I've already answered. You can go watch my last video that I have up on it. Okay, Jesse, you're blocked. If I tell you guys I'm not answering something, don't try to push me into it. Don't sit there and pester me. If y'all haven't realized, I am the most stubborn person in the entire world. Y'all drove me crazy and I stopped doing this for an entire year. I will stop. I am not playing. I don't need it. I don't need live. I don't need YouTube. I can quit either one and be just fucking fine. So stop it. I'm not playing. I don't take requests. This is a big fucking deal that I even sit here and take y'all's questions. If I say I'm not answering something, you're not going to push me to give you an answer. I'm not talking to you, Princess. I'm talking about the person that I just blocked because they won't fucking stop trying to get me to answer some shit about if somebody is using substances. Guess what? Okay, we don't fuck with people because of their mental health anyways. And substance abuse is a side effect of mental health issues. And it is a disease. And the same way that we wouldn't sit here and drag people and make fun of them and talk shit about them if they have cancer, we're not doing it if they have an addiction or mental health issues. Not on my channel. That is not okay. And we're not fucking playing. And I'm fucking done saying that. Because I have said it so many fucking times and it's not okay. And you guys need to understand that this is the thing that's really been like getting on my nerves the most when it comes to social media lately. Everybody wants to cry when something happens to somebody and be like, oh my God, I wish that everybody would have known they were going through something so we could have helped them when it's too late. But y'all bully the shit out of people and insinuate that they're crazy or they're crackheads or whatever when they're going through it in the first place. And then y'all want to fucking stream all of DMX's music and cry your eyes out that he's gone once it's too late. Stop it. Because you wouldn't like and listen, guess what? Just like anybody could fucking get cancer tomorrow, y'all can end up with mental health issues tomorrow too, or develop an addiction issue tomorrow too. It can happen to anybody. So don't be sitting there throwing shit in people's face and using it against them or thinking it's sweet and funny to gossip and kiki and ha-ha about it when you could be the person that's suffering from that same exact shit tomorrow, or your family could too. And then you would fucking hate it if people were treating you that way because of that. I don't play about that shit at all. It's not okay. That's why y'all got me going so hard defending Kanye in the damn first place, because everybody always wants to call him crazy. Y'all just made me appreciate Kanye more. There's nothing entertaining about it. And that shit is so, and listen, to anybody that is struggling, I'm so sorry if you feel any type of way because you see people who are uneducated and honestly dirty minded and dark hearted that want to talk shit. You have all of my love and empathy in the world if you are struggling with addiction or mental health issues. And I pray for you. And I hope to God that God heals you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really, truly do. I am the biggest advocate for mental health and substance abuse because I have lost way too many people I care about due to that stuff. It's not funny. My whole entire channel started because my friend took her own life after she said, I am getting it. That she was so depressed and she wished that she had me on YouTube entertaining her and she took her life. So I don't play about that shit. My channel is dedicated to my friends. It's the only reason why I became on YouTube in the first place. To honor her. Oh, hell yeah, they would. Trust me, none of these people that want to go around and bully people and talk shit and be like, oh my god, and think it's funny and stuff, they would not be able to handle one day in the shoes of somebody who actually has a real struggle, or they themselves are struggling and they think that by putting other people down, that that's somehow making them better. And guess what? All you're doing is digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into the pits of hell and darkness, and you're gonna literally bring depression onto yourself as your karma so you can see what it's like, because God will do that shit to you to humble your ass real quick too. Think about any of them. I mean, it's like, look at Britney Spears. You know, I was just saying this, like the way that like a lot of these blogs are starting to repost her videos on purpose because they know, oh, she's twirling around or she's crying while she's dancing or she's ripping her mom a new one or whatever. They're reposting it knowing full well that people are going to drag this shit out of her in the comments. And it's like, do y'all not forget that you guys are the reason why Britney even got put into that conservatorship and like the stuff that happened to that poor girl? And now you're doing it to her all over again? And it's just, it blows my mind when I see like, you know, places like TMZ posting about her situation again. I'm just like, how do you have the nerve when you and Perez Hilton were the two main ones that had anything to do with giving her parents all this evidence to go and use against her in court, and who hounded and harassed this poor girl into having the breakdown or whatever it was in the first place? And it's just like, I feel so bad for Britney. I mean, we all sat there and fought for her to get free and cried about how she's been held against her will for the last 13 years in this conservatorship. And now you guys are doing the exact same shit to her. And then you turn around and you do it to people like Nicki and Kanye. And you think that like, oh, like that's okay. No. It's one thing to point out the truth about stuff. It's another thing to bully people. That's true, Alexandra. But you know what? My spiritual purpose is to be the truth teller. So I will, and I don't care, I will be as open about all of this stuff as I can. I mean, obviously, it's platforms censor you, so you have to be careful. But for me, I will tell the truth as much as I am allowed to do so. So, how does Nicki feel about the City Girls? I feel like okay, this is what Spirit's saying. She has a lot of respect for JT, and she really feels like JT like has perfected her craft and is like a really like has a lot of potential. I don't get that she likes Carisha. There's something there about her feeling like Carisha is like, come on, go. Come on. Come on. Okay, sorry. I feel like Carisha, like, she feels like Carisha is like immature and silly. And it's almost like JT's definitely like, Nicki feels like JT is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with within the music industry if JT chooses to do that, if that makes sense. Because I've seen too, where JT herself has said in a couple interviews, you know, that for her, like, she wants to do a certain kind of music and whatnot, but that she also doesn't want to, like, I just don't feel like JT like wants to be as big or as famous as like Nicki or Kanye or any of the other bigger people. It's like I like to have my, you know, I can pop out when I want to, when I can be low-key and chill at home with my man when I want to. When I became that big of a star, I would constantly be working. I wouldn't have that much downtime. I wouldn't have any privacy. Because I feel like JT like really likes to be private and she doesn't like all the attention the same way that like Carisha does. Carisha is like Kim Kardashian. I want to be famous. I want attention. I want everybody to look at me. I want to be the most famous, the most this, the most that, which is obviously why she's with Diddy. And there's something about like, you know, Nicki looking from the outside in is like, girl, really? Like, we all saw what happened with Cassie. Like, why are you tying yourself to that? And it's almost like Spirit saying, like, Nicki feels like Carisha's really thirsty. So she doesn't have a whole lot of respect for her. And of course, she doesn't think that Miami is a good rapper at all either. So, and I honestly, I feel like, I feel like when it comes to, you know, obviously she put JT on the Queen's mix. I think that that was Nicki's way of showing, obviously. Like, I would obviously never do a song with just the City Girls, anyways. Because, I mean, could you imagine Nicki and Carisha on the same song? I mean, it's like I said this before. I had to listen to JT on the Queen's mix alone to give her my stamp of approval because sometimes I was like, okay, next to Carisha, anybody could sound like an amazing rapper. Right? Like I could sound like fucking like an amazing rapper if you put me on the same song as Carisha, because at least you'd be able to understand what I was saying. And I would just win by default by that. So it's like, it's not that hard to look good next to like certain people. Let's be honest. Like they suck. They just got pretty privilege, right? So it was like when I heard JT hold her own on a track with Nicki and Akbar and Bia and all these other people, then I was like, oh my God, okay, now I get it. JT really is that good. Like, I feel sorry to even say that it took me that long, but that's just how I felt. So it's just, Spirit saying, do you really think Nicki would have wanted to be on a track with both of the city girls, or she was just kind of like waiting for this opportunity of, yeah, I would work with JT, just not Miami. So this was the perfect opportunity. And, I've told you guys before, if you go back and look at my previous readings, the city girls are obviously being groomed to split up and go off and do their own shit anyways, separate from each other. So I think that this was also like a good segue to kind of maybe shift JT off into more of a solo career, because I keep getting that we're going to hear JT on a lot of different songs coming up too. Oh, thank you so much, Dana. You know what? Soul Shell, I'll tell you this. If you don't sit there, if you haven't noticed, a lot of celebrities have been mostly posting on Reels and their stories. They're getting hit with the shame, shadow banning, and only getting promoted if you're playing along with whatever the hell Instagram wants you to do crap that all the rest of us creators are. Except for the Kardashians, it seems. I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at their pages, but I just haven't seen anybody talking about them not having so much engagement or whatever on their stuff the same way that, I've seen people talking about like when it comes to other celebrities. So, is the friendship between Rihanna and Nicki genuine? Yeah. I mean, as genuine as any industry friendship can be, I guess. I wouldn't, like, I'm just going to say this. If I ever had to work in the industry, I would never date anybody in that industry, and I would never consider anybody in the industry my friend at all. I don't care if you signed me and you're my dad. If you're in the industries too, you can't be trusted. Well, and you know what's so crazy is any way, I mean, on every social media platform, especially if you are like, say, like doing a brand collab, or I'm gonna do like a sponsored post or whatever, and you're talking about like your engagement and stuff. They think if you have 10% engagement from your subscribers or followers, like that's like the industry standard and like a good number. That seems really low if you really think about it. And that tells you that these platforms are not pushing people's posts, or that they're playing games behind the scenes and stuff, because you would think it would at least, I don't know, maybe be 25 or 30% that they would be looking for, but they're like, oh, you get 10%? That's great. And I'm like, what? So, alrighty, and then I have to wrap it up and get off of here in the next 10 minutes because I have a call I have to do at 8:30 my time. With Kendrick or J. Cole soon. Spirit saying Nicki's next era is still going to be more pop era. So if she did do any kind of a feature with him, I don't feel it would even be Nicki's song. or Kendrick or J. Cole's. It would be more like, for example, like Bia had a song and then Nicki was also going to be on it, and so is J. Cole, and it's like we both ended up on this other artist track together, but it wasn't on my album or your album or our own songs, kind of a thing. And that's just because Spirit's saying, you know, they just obviously put out different types of music themselves anyways, that I don't get that like none of them have ever wanted to work together or anything like that. It's just more so like you haven't put out anything that like would make sense for me to be on or vice versa, and that's why it hasn't happened yet. So, because I do really feel like it's going to be a lot of pop music. We're going to see her do a lot of different stuff. Like, don't get me. Don't get it confused. You know, I do feel like we will, you know, because she has been. Nicki's always been diverse in the types of music and the songs that she's been on. So, I mean, I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if we don't see Nicki pop up on a country song in the next year either. But I do feel like she herself is going to like her own next album will be a lot more kind of like pop, or at least like I said, because I keep feeling like there's 2 albums coming out. I don't feel like it's just one. Or it's like when she did, you know, the Roman, oh my God. Like my brain is like so fried right now. Like I can't remember the names of her old albums. What the hell happened to me? I was like, see, that's when you know it's Mercury retrograde, because I just like forget words and things. Roman Reloaded. Yes. Thank you, Mango. I could not for the life of me like pull that name out of my mouth. But you know how she would do an album and then she would come out with like the deluxe version or something. I keep getting maybe that, but I don't know why. I just keep feeling like part 1, part 2. Like, in part 1, it's like, this is the poppy stuff for everybody, you know, that wants to hear the mainstream stuff. And then part 2 is more, if you liked mixtape Nicki, if you liked more of her like serious songs, if you like some of her older stuff, like that will be, you know, like that one. It's like I made it for like the real hardcore fans that have been with me from the beginning. And but I do get that, you know, she'll be on a bunch of other people's music that's pretty different. So I don't know why I keep seeing her also, because you know she did a K-pop song, right? Has she already done a K-pop song? I don't listen to K-pop. So I'm like trying to remember. But she, what do you call, I keep seeing her like doing a lot of songs like with overseas artists. And Spirit keeps talking about one of the songs like not even really being in English except for Nicki's part. So just the same way that, you know, she did when she was on the Karol G song. So we're definitely going to see her like all over the place though, and showcasing that she can ride different waves and different music. I just feel like her own music is going to be more pop centered like the next drop. So yeah, like Tusa, like, okay, yeah, she was on a BTS song. I thought so, but then I was like, am I just making that up in my head? Because Nicki's been on every other freaking song in the world at this point, too. So, but anyways, guys, I have to go because, like I said, I have a call to do in 10 minutes and I need to honestly sage the shit out of my space after this. But those of y'all that were cool, thank you. I love you. Those of you who, you know, jumped on the person who wanted to talk shit, thank you. That's my stalker anyways. I hope someday that I fall in love with somebody just as hard as my stalker loves me, because it is very flattering. And I just think, wow, to love somebody that much that you keep making all of these pages to show up. You watch everything that they do first. Like, I want to love somebody that much. I don't care about anybody that hardcore. May we all fall in love as deeply as my stalkers love me, right? We're manifesting that for ourselves. So, anyways, guys, though, I love you so much. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for everybody who showed up. Make sure you like the live on your way out. If you want to join the Patreon or follow me on Instagram, it's really Psychic Bella Love everywhere, but I really only use Instagram and Patreon outside of YouTube. And if you wanted to book your own personal private reading, psychicbellalove.com. Y'all know I'm accurate. And I lowered my prices, so there's no more sales, but y'all will still get a good deal. And it's always a fun time to talk to me anyways. I love you guys so much, and make sure you like the live on your way out, and I will be back next week. This time we'll talk about, whatever, unless somebody personally like pops off and dominates the news cycle all week the way that Nicki and then Ray J did. We'll probably just talk about whatever happened during the week, and then I'll have the rest of the Kardashian whatever stuff that I was gonna do up next week too, because hopefully they won't be cutting trees every day next week outside my house. So love you guys. Have a good one. Bye.